Ahoy hoy fellow bookworms, my name is Caroline and I like to read books, so let's talk about them. In today's video I'm going to be sharing with you the 5 worst books that I read in 2017, and this was actually really easy for me to work out because I had a great reading year in 2017 and I only read about 5 books that I would consider like bad books that I had a terrible time reading. And I'm really excited to bitch about them, so let's get into this. These are in no particular order, by the way, but the first book that I want to mention is The Way of Shadows by Brent Weeks, which is the first book in the Night Angel trilogy and just has a fucking awful cover. I should mention that I still might continue this series because I'm kind of intrigued about where it's going to go, but my main problem with this was just how tropey it was. Like, it was completely full of tropes, and that's not a bad thing. You know, 1 or 2 tropes isn't bad, but there was just so many of them that it became kind of ridiculous. Like, the main character is a street urchin. He becomes an assassin, like, and the master assassin who teaches him is like really gruff and like cold and mean, but has this backstory that somehow justifies how mean he is. And all the female characters are sex workers except the love interest, who is like perfect and pure and virginal, and it's like there were all these tropes. There's more, but I can't remember it because I read this ages ago. But it was all that, and then there was just this repetitive politicking, and it was just like, I didn't enjoy it that much. The disappointing thing about this book though was that I really just wanted to read about like a badass assassin, and instead I got this assassin who decides that he doesn't want to be an assassin anymore and kind of grows a heart, and it just wasn't the book for me. And I didn't particularly enjoy it. Might still continue the series, but yeah, not a great book. Next on my list is See You in the Cosmos by Jack Chang, and I'm not going to talk a huge amount about this one because I did do a ranty review when I finished this and I was really grumpy, so I'm just going to leave the link to that in case you guys are interested. But to narrow it down to the 3 things that are really frustrating about this book, the first one is the writing style. This is written in like voice recordings by the main character, and he is a child, so it's like his stream of consciousness, and at first it's bearable, then it's frustrating, and then it is just like ridiculously annoying. Second is that, like I said, he's a child. He's 11 or 12 and he's going on this journey by himself with his dog, and all these adults keep helping him. They're like, no, I can't come in to work tomorrow, I'm helping a kid on his journey. And they all just drop their lives to help him, but no one is like, maybe I shouldn't trust that this child hasn't run away from home. They all just go along with his journey. Third thing is that a character's absence is explained away using mental illness, and I just kind of thought that was inappropriate and weird and just not a great way to portray mental illness, but overall I just didn't really enjoy anything about this book. Next up is The School for Good and Evil, The Last Ever After by Salman Chanani. This is a 630-page book, and the reason why I hated it so much is because I feel like it could have been probably half of that. This is one of the most repetitive books I have ever read. The plot just goes in circles again and again and again and again, and the characters like seesaw in their character development, and that just made it one of the most frustrating things I have ever read. Like, I considered DNFing this so many times, but I was like, no, it's the final book in a trilogy, I'm gonna see it through to the end, and it didn't even have a satisfying ending. It kind of ended and I was like, okay, fine, like, I'll take it, that's okay, I guess. And also, this book introduces like 5 million new characters, doesn't develop them at all, expects you to remember their names and care about them, and they like contribute nothing to the plot except for one of them who is like super fucking powerful, and you're like, where have you been for the rest of the fucking series? Who are you? What the fuck? Why? Why is this 630 pages? Why? These final 2 I'm like slightly nervous to talk about because they're super popular books, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So next up we have The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. I was once really excited to read this, and then I just read like a bunch of negative reviews in a row saying it wasn't that great and all this stuff, and I was like, I think I'm gonna hate it. So I read this and I have kind of mixed feelings about it because on the one hand, the writing was really lovely, the world was really vivid, I loved all the descriptions of food and stuff like that, but on the other, I just didn't care for the story, like, at all. The romance was really crappy, and I didn't like how quickly they fell in love. I didn't like that our main character went in there as this like badass strong female and was like, I'm gonna fucking kill him and I hate him. And then like 2 days later she's like, actually he's kind of cute, and they start falling in love. And it was just this really weird story for me. I didn't enjoy this that much. Like, the writing was nice, so I did kind of enjoy it and it was intriguing enough to keep me reading, but I just didn't care for the characters that much, and their love story was just weird because I found the whole premise of their love to be really odd, so I just didn't buy into it, and I don't want to read the second book, so I'm not going to be continuing with this series either. Next and final book on my worst books of 2017 list is A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J Maas. I actually gave this book 3 out of 5 stars, but it makes this list purely because it was so fucking disappointing. I have done a full spoilery review and I will leave the link to that on the screen in case you guys want to check out more like in-depth thoughts about this. But basically it was just such a letdown. It was like most of this book and the second book as well was building to this big like final confrontation, and it was going to be so dramatic and like people were going to die and it was going to be the worst thing ever. And it was dramatic, but it was kind of just like not as big a deal as it was made out to be, and it was like Sarah J Maas was too attached to her characters and there was just no real consequences, and it was really, really disappointing. And it's just like, why? Like, why was this book so crap? There were Deus Ex moments at the end where people show up to save the day, and it was just like, it felt messy to me and I didn't really like it. But mostly I'm just pissed about the lack of consequences because that is lazy writing to me. That brings us to the end of another video though, guys. Be sure to let me know what made your list of worst books. I upload videos Wednesdays, Saturdays, and sometimes Mondays as well, so be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Toodaloo.